We just returned from the most expensive trip of our lives, a 15-day Viking Ocean Cruise.
Having spent over $25,000 on this vacation, we're here to share the details of our experience and whether or not we feel it was worth it.
I'm Shauna, and this is Kevin. We met online in 2015, and in 2016, we eloped on a beach in Kauai. We thought we knew what the next chapter of our life would look like. But after years of fertility treatments and 4 failed rounds of IVF, we decided to stop focusing on what we do not have and start focusing on what we do have. Join us as we reimagine and redesign what our life looks like.
The Viking Ocean Cruise that we just returned from was the Into the Midnight Sun itinerary. It was on the Viking Mars ship where we spent 15 days sailing through Norway, Scotland, and ending in London.
And this trip truly was a splurge for us. It was a trip of a lifetime, and it had a symbolic meaning. It symbolized us ending our fertility journey and us truly embracing our child-free, not by choice life. So was it worth it? Let's get into the details.
So I think it's important to kick off our experiences with embarking. And the reason why I feel that's important is because one of the reasons you choose a Viking cruise is because you want a more intimate experience because you are on a smaller ship. So with only 930 adult guests, that means that you're not fighting with 4, 5, 7,000 people trying to get on a cruise ship. It's a much better experience getting onto the cruise. And I was absolutely blown away by how easy the Viking crew made the embarking experience and how quick it was.
Yeah, I completely agree. It exceeded my expectations. We did complete the online check-in where they want your photo and different information. But when we pulled up in the Uber, we had 4 or 5 different Viking employees that were there ready to take our bags, put the right tags on them, and then direct us through security and then straight on the ship. So I would say from pulling up in the Uber to actually stepping onto the ship, being handed a glass of champagne, probably took about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that includes the safety briefing, which was actually, it was just the 2 of us. They didn't wait for other people or group to come. We had a Viking crew member give us that safety briefing in that entire 10 minutes.
That's right. So for embarking, I would say exceeded expectations, 5 out of 5.
Oh, definitely 5 stars. Definitely cheers worthy. So let's talk about the ship and the overall layout. Before we jump into it, I do think it's really important to note that all of Viking Ocean Cruises, their ships are identical in terms of layout. So we were on the Viking Mars, but it doesn't matter which Viking Ocean ship you are on. They're all identical, which is actually really nice for when you go back on another ship or itinerary. So overall, with the layout of the ship, how did you feel about the layout?
I loved it the moment that we walked on. I thought it was very clean. It was very organized. It felt very luxurious. I felt like every part of the ship was set up for you to take advantage of views outside. And overall, I thought that the layout was very easy to navigate, and it exceeded my expectations the moment that we stepped on the ship.
Yeah, so what I loved about the layout is when you're docked and you have the bridge to get onto the ship, you get on level 1, which puts you right at the what they call the living room, which is a part of the atrium, which is a part which is levels 1, 2, and 3 in the center of the ship. What's nice is that you have elevators and stairs at the aft of the ship and at the forward of the ship, so it makes it easy to get around. And then by getting in right there at the center of the ship, you have a bar and a beautiful area to sit down, play games, have drinks, have coffee. So that layout was amazing to just walk into that every single time and see all the meticulous details of just how beautiful that atrium really was. I really liked that about the layout. I will say our favorite, probably where we spent most of the time though, was on deck 7. So on deck 7 is where you have better views, I would say. So you have your Explorer's Lounge, which is the front of the ship, and really where we spent the vast majority of the time. Our favorite bar, it has Mamson's there, which had waffles, which I loved. There are the Norwegian waffles. They have the winter garden, which is where they had tea time. The pool was there with a roof that retracted if you had good weather. And then you also had the World Cafe. So it was really a truly kind of the living area, I would say, of the ship with the best views. I would say that's where we probably, other than the room itself, spent 80% of our time was on deck 7.
And despite that being the part of the ship that I think we both feel had the absolute best views, it was never hard to find a secluded area to sit. If we wanted to go sit away from everyone, just the two of us, if the Explorers Lounge had a little bit too many people, then we would be able to move into the Winter Garden area. There was no shortage of areas to sit and actually enjoy the view. So I love the ship layout. I actually think it's a pro that all of the Viking Ocean ships are the exact same, so I would know what to expect if we decide to book another Viking cruise, but I did like that. So talking about some specifics in the ship that we weren't sure exactly what they were going to be like, what did you think of the fitness center? And we did actually use it a little bit. We did.
So yeah, and we do have a short on our channel page for the fitness center. I thought it was perfect. So we do like to work out. We tend to work out 6 days a week. But we do a variety of workouts. So we do cardio mixed with strength training. One of us does yoga. It's actually me. She does stretching, but I do the yoga. But the fitness center had everything. There were, I don't know, 8, 9 treadmills, row machines. There were machines for lifting. There were free weights. There were bikes to ride on. It really had everything you needed from a fitness center. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I felt like it was an appropriate size for the number of adults that were on the ship. So we did use that. Did you do yoga in there? How was that?
I did not do yoga.
You did yoga.
Although they did have a space for yoga.
They did.
I did skip yoga for those 15 days. I was more concerned about burning calories because I was taking in so many more on this trip.
So fitness center for this ship, I would give it 5 stars.
Oh, the fitness center is absolutely 5 stars. Okay. Yeah, it was perfect. What about the spa?
So right next to the fitness center is the spa. One of the things that I liked when we first got on the ship is we actually got a tour of the fitness area and the spa. So we had a Viking employee actually explain to us how we were supposed to take advantage of the snow grotto and then the steam room, which was really fun to learn about. While we only went to the spa on the first day, I still felt like it was a wonderful spa. The pool area was pretty decently sized. They had a little hot tub. I thought it was great, even though we never made it back there after that.
That's true. So keep in mind, you're on a smaller cruise ship. So the spa is going to be smaller than some of these larger cruises. However, the experience was really cool. They really center around the hot to cold experience. And what's funny is Shauna does better in the heat. I do better in the cold. So the fact that we both had to be tortured with the other was kind of cool. So we went from the steam room, which was 115 degrees. You spend as much time as you can in there, probably a few minutes. Then you go to the snow grotto, which was like 14 degrees. And you spend a few minutes and you go back and forth. And that's their whole hot, cold experience. And it was actually, it was fun. It was fun to do. And you're right, the pool was a great size. They had a fake fireplace in there, not real fire, but the ambiance was awesome. And it was not busy.
And it was nice that it wasn't an upcharge, that it was included. So that was something that was nice about it. To the sports deck area, the very top of the ship. My favorite moment utilizing the sports deck. So they've got an outside area where you can walk around the perimeter of the ship. They've got a couple of things like ping pong and a small putting green. My favorite was we were sailing into the midnight sun and we reached a point over the Arctic Circle where we weren't having really a sunset anymore. And it was about 11:30 at night and we went upstairs and hung out there for just a little while. And it was just breathtaking. But I liked the sports deck and the overall layout of it.
Yeah, so the sports deck does have some sports things, right? So ping pong table, putting green, bocce ball was up there. But it also had some nice seating areas and a nice kind of walking track if you just wanted to get outdoors and walk. And with the views, so again, being on a smaller cruise ship, you get up close and personal with the scenery more than you would on a larger cruise ship. So that's one of the benefits of a Viking cruise. And being on the sports deck where you don't have even a glass in front of you does kind of heighten the experience a little bit. And it was great just to be up there, take a walk while you're going through fjords or seeing whatever your itinerary has. I really enjoyed it. And I liked the fact that they had seating area on that level. So if you just wanted to relax and sit out, you could. And they had glass partitions to break the wind up in those seating areas. So you're not getting blasted with the wind even as you're sailing.
So overall, the ship, what would you rate that?
The layout and all I mean, I couldn't have designed anything better. It's definitely 5 stars.
I agree. The ship was 100% 5 out of 5 stars. Yes. Cheers worthy. Yes.
So playing off of the ship itself, let's talk about the room. There are 6 categories of staterooms that they have. We actually chose, which is the 4th category up, which was the Penthouse Junior Suite. What did you think of the room?
So we were gone for a very long time and I had to pack for 4 different seasons. So I knew I was going to be bringing quite a bit with me, and everything said, oh, don't worry, you have so much space in these Viking rooms. Like, it's going to be so easy to unpack and you'll still have space to spare. And they were actually right. I was incredibly impressed with the room. It was very clean. There's only one thing about the room that we did not like, which we're going to share with you. There's one thing. But overall, the layout of the room was beautiful. Everything was nice and clean. There were so many little cubbies for us to put all of our items. In the bathroom, we had so many different drawers. We had different shelves. I had so much room to spare. The closets, I always saw people say, oh, the closets are huge. You have so much space with the storage in the drawers. Didn't believe them. But they were actually right. I was able to unpack most of my stuff, hang it up in the room. We definitely had space to be able to spread out and just hang out, because we do like to just hang out in our rooms and look outside in the balcony. But I was very impressed with the room, and it exceeded my expectations.
So the rooms, as I mentioned, there's 6 categories. All of them are great. One of the reasons that we did kind of book a nicer room is that it was larger, and we do like to hang out in the room and spend time. We have friends that are just in a room to sleep sometimes, so they would probably go with, the cheapest room they can get. We like to hang out in our room. So I thought the space that we had with the Penthouse Junior Suite was perfect. And when Shauna says there was plenty of room to unpack, like the amount of drawers you had, we had empty drawers, and we had 5 bags. 4 check bags, right? No, 3 check bags, 1 carry-on bag, 2 backpacks that we took with us. But we were able to unpack everything for all 15 days and hang it up. I will say Shauna was brilliant. She found these little
the magnetic hooks.
Yeah, magnetic hooks that you could put up on any of the walls, because the walls are made of metal. So that was really nice to just hang up extra things like a rain jacket to dry off and such. And we'll put the link down bottom so that way you can see what those are.
Yep, absolutely. So the one thing that we did not like about the room, and I know this is subjective and everyone has their own opinions, but we feel pretty strongly, the bed was terrible.
For us, if it didn't have much give, it was like a piece of plywood.
Yes, it was.
So it was pretty tough.
It was pretty disappointing too. So our stew was absolutely amazing. We did ask for a mattress topper, which we had heard certain ships have. This ship only had what was old comforters with a mattress strap sewn on. So our stew put one of those on. He put another one on. He ended up actually putting 3 or 4 on our bed, trying to help us out. All it really did was make it lumpy. And so while it was tolerable after being on the cruise for that amount of time, it was something that made us question what's going to be our decision moving forward with Viking, because the room was so spectacular. The bed, the pillows for us just weren't able to get to that level of comfort.
So yeah, I mean, some people may like the bed. It's a very firm bed. So if that's what you like, you will have no problem with these beds. I will say what we were most disappointed in is not that the bed was firm, it was that there were no options for people that didn't like a firm bed. So those toppers, when Shauna says it was a very thin comforter, it was a little bit more than maybe a blanket. Like it did not give anything. We had 4 stacked on top. Really didn't add anything. And then there were only 2 pillow options. So, I mean, in the future, we would bring our own pillows and then hope that maybe other ships maybe have better toppers, because we have heard that other cruise ships do have different toppers, maybe. Yeah. But we definitely bring our own pillows.
I agree with what you said. It was the lack of options for the price that we paid. When the actual chairs in the Winter Haven area were way more comfortable than the actual beds that we had, that was a little bit of an issue. But our Stu did everything that he could to make it up to make it. So
like I said, we know this is very subjective. So I would say room overall, I would give it 5 stars. I would not make it cheers worthy because the bed did not really appeal to us, but it may appeal to others.
Yeah, I agree. Right. Yeah, not cheers worthy. So I would say the room, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars just because that bed, I have to. The bed, it really started to affect us.
After 15 days, you realize how important sleeping well is because when you don't sleep well, after about a week, it does start to affect your actual daytime. So I could see why you'd give that 4 stars.
But everything else in the room, the details, the little lights on the bottom, the heated floors, it was, that exceeded my expectations. The bed makes it not cheers worthy.
Okay. So overall, 4.5 stars then? Or are we averaging this? All right.
All right. So let's talk about the food. So Viking has 3 different categories. They've got the main dining, which is the World Cafe, the restaurant, and then Mamson's for snacks and kind of mid-afternoon stuff. They've got the specialty dining, which is Chef's Table and Manfredi's, and then, of course, room service. Now, while we've got a lot of nice things to say about Viking, this wouldn't be a true review if we weren't fully honest with you. And the food, with the price that we paid, it did not meet my expectations.
Yeah. So Sean was trying to be nice. The food was disappointing. The reason being is Viking is a luxury cruise ship. As we've mentioned, we spent a lot of money on this cruise. I guess being on a luxury cruise, I really expected to have more gourmet food and just be blown away by the food. And we were not. Sure, we had some good experiences with meals, and I wouldn't say anything was like terrible or inedible. It really wasn't gourmet or even good sometimes. So maybe let's hit on each category. Do you want to start with main dining?
Yeah, so first? Let's start with the World Cafe, which is their main buffet area, which they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. And there are tons of options as you move through. My experience was that it was very mediocre. It was edible, but there was nothing at the World Cafe that absolutely blew me away.
The gelato was good.
The gelato, I would say,
the gelato.
Yes. And you love the gelato. It's a good thing you do yoga. The gelato was probably your favorite part in switching it out, I think. I just felt like even their pizza,
so
I mean, disappointing.
The other thing to note is the buffet is not open all the time. It's only certain times. So when you think it's very regimented, where it's only open to 9:30 or 10 in the morning, they close, then it's open 12 to 2, then it's not open again until 6 o'clock. So it's not like you can gain access all the time to it. The gelato was my favorite part of the World Cafe.
They did have sushi, and I did enjoy having a nice sushi selection, but it's not something that I wanted to have every single day.
Was the sushi good though?
It was pretty good.
Okay.
It was pretty good, I would say. There wasn't a huge variety, but it was pretty good. Their actual dessert bar, they had some items on there that were good, but for the most part, everything was just, the cookies were okay.
Okay.
Did I still eat them? Yes. We did not lose weight on this trip. But the World Cafe, it was just...
it was average. I'd put Mamson's and the restaurant into the kind of main dining category too. The restaurant was okay. basically the same thing as World Cafe. Mamson's is more of like snacks. So you have waffles in the morning, which, by the way, were awesome. Highly recommend it. Skip all the other breakfast items. Just go get waffles at Mamson's. And then afternoon, they had Norwegian sugar cookies, which I enjoyed. She wasn't as much into the sugar cookies, but it was kind of nice to have some snacks in the Explorers Lounge. Mm-hmm. But overall, main dining definitely disappointed us.
Yeah, the restaurant to me felt like the World Cafe food, just like fancified with like an extra sauce on it or that type of thing. And while it was nice to sit down, the restaurant did take an hour and a half, I would say, for us to sit down and eat from beginning to end, even without us trying to stretch it out. So it was enjoyable. It just didn't meet what I thought a luxury cruise was going to be serving me.
What about the specialty dining?
So the specialty dining, let's see, we've got Manfredi's, which is their Italian restaurant. And I would say we went 3 different times. We did all 3 reservations we could do to Manfredi's. And there was one time that it was absolutely wonderful. And that was the night that they had chicken parm. Wonderful, very good. I really enjoyed their tiramisu. That was delicious and met my expectations. The rest of everything else on the menu was, again, it was fine, but it wasn't anything. Yeah.
What about the chef's table, which is their second specialty dining?
So probably our best experience was the chef's table. We only ended up going one night because that was the menu that appealed to us. I thought the food was really good. It was very interesting how they paired it with wine, and we love our wine. And even though some of the wine wasn't something I would have ever selected, it did actually pair perfectly with the plate that we were being served. I thought it was good. I think it was fun. I thought it was good. One thing that I think speaks to how the food was is that we both were trying to document everything from this trip. We wanted to record everything. We wanted to get the room, the view, everything. We don't have any footage of the food really because it
wasn't photo worthy.
It just existed. It wasn't.
Which maybe is the reason we should have taken photos. But yeah, I would say. So the chef's table, again, we only went one of the 3 nights. The reason being is one thing that's nice about the chef table, though, is that they do change the menu every 3 or 4 days based on where you are. So you kind of get a local feel to the menu. And we canceled our other 2 nights just because the menu didn't speak to us. One of the nights, I remember it had duck. Some people may love duck. We just didn't feel like trying any duck that night. So we canceled those other 2 for that. But the one time we did go, it was phenomenal. It was a really cool experience. I would wholeheartedly disagree with my wife, though, on the wine. So here's the thing. We do like our wine. We like Napa. Like, you know, we're drinking decent wine now.
We're going to talk about the silver spirits.
But the wine pairing, I stopped drinking wine after day 2 of our 15-day cruise on Viking because white wines, they had plenty of good selection. Champagne was great on it. The reds were not good, at least for us. Every bottle was under $20 of the red, even when you buy up to we'll talk about later, the silver spirits. But yeah, the wine was white, champagne good, red.
All right, so the room service, something that was very appealing to us was that this cruise ship did not charge you any extra for room service. So we were extremely excited and we did take advantage of room service. The downside is the room service menu never changes. And we did learn that you can alter it slightly. So for example, they had what was it, a caprese sandwich, and we would say add turkey to it if we were feeling like actually having a real sandwich. And when we first got room service, the very first, I would say 4 days even, I thought the room service was great. We got it every morning. We got it oftentimes for night for a snack. I thought the room service was good. And then for some reason, it just slowly started to go down
almost like they ran out of certain ingredients.
Yes.
It was very hard to get condiments with. So most of the time we had breakfast in the room. It was hard to get ketchup or hot sauce for your eggs. They would forget it. And if they forgot it, it was 45 minutes before you saw them. So you were done with your food by the time you saw it. So it's almost like they ran out of stuff.
The pancake syrup seemed to be watered down by the last 2 days.
The soup got
they were
really
fully
bad.
out of items. There was a chicken noodle soup that I had one night that was great. And then the next time that I ordered it, it was broth with literally 1 pea and 1 piece of chicken in it. So the room service actually went from pretty decent to we didn't even eat the last 2 times that we ordered room service. We said, we're not even going to be able to have this,
just go get a waffle.
unfortunately. So that was unfortunate. And then just to speak on dietary restrictions, I know that they say that they are more than happy to make any changes to anything. My experience, I prefer not to eat gluten whenever I can avoid it. I'm not fully, celiac disease or anything, but I choose to avoid it when I can. The first night I was able to get gluten-free crackers. I was able to get gluten-free bread with my room service. And then by the end, they were completely out of anything but one type of gluten-free bread. It was also a little bit of an ordeal to get dairy-free options at different situations. They were always willing. The staff wanted to please and wanted to get the things. But if you're looking for that to be an option on the buffet, gluten-free, dairy-free, other allergies, that was not something that was easily or readily accessible.
Readily is what my wife was trying to say.
Accessible.
Again, we're drinking wine as we're filming this, so we apologize. It's been a few hours.
So the food for me, with the price that we paid, are we gonna say I'm gonna 3 stars, 2.5 stars, like right in the middle?
2.5 is like not edible. I feel like 3.
Okay.
Well, you can give it whatever you want. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not trying to tell my wife that she can rate something.
I'm struggling with it because I'm not.
I would say it was
picky,
3 stars, but again, our expectations were to be blown away. I would say this was, it was 3 stars in my opinion.
Yeah,
you can give it 2.5 if you want.
No, I'm going to give it 3.
Okay, so 3 stars.
Is it cheers worthy?
No, but I do need to drink some wine.
No.
Okay, so let's talk about the entertainment. So they call a Viking cruises the thinking man or the thinking woman's cruise. And the reason being is because there's not a ton of entertainment. So you're not going to have the headline type shows that you would have on these larger cruise ships. So overall entertainment, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Kevin. We didn't book this trip looking for a wild nightlife. They did have some shows in the Star Theater, which we did not attend a full show. We walked in one, decided that it wasn't for us. They have a cute little nightclub that the one night that I went, there were probably 7 other individuals hanging out, watching the performers on stage. The bar was nice. They were very wonderful.
It's a jazz bar called Torshavn, which is nicely decorated and appointed. It just wasn't our jam. And yeah, I mean, we're not staying up till even 11 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Most nights on these cruises. So
there were a couple of different little shops that you could shop in at different times. We did not end up shopping at any of those. I would say the musicians that were playing in the different parts, like the living room or also at the Explorers Lounge, they were great. Nice. It created a nice little ambiance.
In the living room, they had a piano and would frequently have people playing the piano, and then sometimes the what was the big guitar? Violin. I don't know. What they call this
thing?
They
had a cello.
A cello.
They had a flute. They had a couple of different instruments. So it was a nice ambiance, but the entertainment, I don't even know how to rate this because it met my expectations.
It met my expectation. I would give it a 5-star because this is you are not on the Viking cruise to see the latest comedy show or a headline act. That's not why you go on it. Their entertainment was exactly what they pitch it as, which is you're going to get a lot of time to read a book, to relax. You're going to see beautiful scenery. That's your entertainment.
Our entertainment was getting a nice drink in the Explorers Lounge and watching the sunset, basically.
And enjoying one another's company.
That's right, because we do that, right?
Yes, we do. Most of the time.
All right.
So 5 stars, I would say, for entertainment.
Let's say 5 stars.
Yeah. So let's talk about the port experience. So getting on and off the ship at different ports. I guess before we jump in there, one thing that was nice about Viking is before you got to a port, like the day before, typically in the afternoon around 4 or 5 o'clock, they would have a port talk, which would educate you about the port you were going to see the next day, which I really enjoyed because you could go to the Star Theater and see it in person, or you could just stay in your room and watch it on the Viking TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked that. But the port experience itself, so getting on and off at the different ports, the excursions.
Yeah, and the nice thing too that you were saying about the port talks is you can watch it after the fact as a replay. So we would watch it at night sometimes. And if you do book an excursion through Viking, the port talks are going to give you the specific information about the excursion that you booked. They're going to give you the details of where you're going to meet, where you're going to go, all of those things. We made the decision not to book one excursion through Viking. We also did not sign up for any of their free included excursions because none of them appealed to us. We were wanting to really have some personalized experiences. There were some very specific things that we wanted to do at the different ports. So we made that decision.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they didn't appeal to us. I mean, Viking does a really good job of curating a great list of excursions from the included ones, which are really nice, typically a walking or kind of like a coach bus tour. It was more so about the experience that we wanted. We wanted an intimate experience. And then also the price. It is cheaper to book your excursions direct at tour operators than it is through Viking. And it's like far cheaper. Like it's a third or a fourth of the price. It saves you a ton of money. Some risk there, inherent risk. But so that's what we chose to do.
And I know you talked about excursions
in a previous video. So we'll put the link below.
But one thing, we looked at Viking's excursions and they inspired us to look at our own. And just to throw out as one example, we did an ATV ride. And when we pulled into, it was in Honningsvåg, we actually were doing the exact same ATV company that Viking was. And there was a group of about 15 people going off with one guide. And then it was just us that were going off with our own guide because we had booked it separately. Mm-hmm. So we saw what they were doing, looked into other options, and were able to do that at a more cost-effective price. And then also personalize the experience based on what we wanted to do. So that's
what's nice. Yeah, these tour operators for the most part are located right at the port. So there wasn't a lot of trying to figure out transportation to get there. So that was nice. What about the embarking, disembarking for the actual ports?
For the most part, so the nice thing is they will let you know if you're going to be tendering or not. Mm-hmm. So on the days that you're not tendering, so you're actually pulled up at the dock, it is so incredibly easy to just walk off the ship at any point and walk right back on. With it being a smaller crowd, it never was any type of wait really to get on the ship. It was very quick. It was nice also because Viking doesn't nickel and dime you, that we were able to purchase different alcohol if we wanted to. We wanted to do a gin tasting after walking around at one location in Scotland, and we brought that right in. So that was nice. I would say it was super easy.
Yeah, it was very easy. You just took your key card, scanned whatever bags you had, and like Shauna mentioned, because you can bring alcohol on. They don't care. It's such a quick process.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And then for the actual locations that we had to tender on and off, they would let you know how long it would take. There was one specific location that we had to tender on, get back on the ship, and then actually go back to the port. And they were very quick, very efficient. We only ran into one issue with disembarking.
Yeah. So one thing to keep in mind is that if you're at a port from 9 to 5, you're tendering, it really makes it from like 10 to 4 or 10 to 3:30. So, and a lot of times you don't know if you're tendering or not until the day or 2 days before. So it makes it a little challenging to coordinate. And when you are tendering, they do give priority to people that booked excursions through Viking, as you would expect. We did run into some challenges there when we had a private tour, and it cost us an extra 20 minutes. It was a little frustrating for us. Now that we know that piece, though, we can plan around it a little better. But yeah, the tenders are great, by the way. It just takes a little extra time than if you're right at the dock, as you would expect.
Mm-hmm. But I would say getting back on the ship, getting off the ship, five stars for sure.
I would say 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had that one experience that we just...
Yay, cheers for me.
Yay, we get to drink wine.
All right, so let's talk about the add-ons or the extras that were included with the price. So a couple of things that were included. We had Wi-Fi that was included.
Yeah.
How did you feel the Wi-Fi was?
I felt like it was a cruise ship Wi-Fi. It's going to be spotty. You're not going to be able to stream on it. But if you want to check out, read an article, download the Wall Street Journal, something like you'll be able to do that, but you're not going to be able to stream.
Yes, I wasn't able to. You're not able to stream or download anything, but it was great. It served its purpose, and it was nice that it was something that was already factored into our overall cost.
Yeah, with the add-ons, Viking is it's probably the best cruise line in terms of including stuff with just the base price. There's not a lot of nickel and dime. Actually, there's no nickel and diming with them, so that was nice.
Now, we had included with our room level laundry service. And if you're not at that room level that it's included, you can actually pay per piece to have your laundry sent out. And I will say it is nice that it comes in like a nice little box. If it's your socks or your underwear or anything like that, it's in a nice little box and tissue. They do press everything. It comes back looking very nice. You are able to write on the ticket, which was my concern, certain items that you wanted to just lie flat to dry. They were very accommodating in that. There was only one issue that we did not love about their laundry service, and that is the way that they keep track of which room your laundry belongs to.
Yeah, they put these little sticky tags on your actual clothes with your room number, which is great. I want to make sure I get all my clothes back. The problem is they didn't take them off. So the couple times that we did laundry and sent it off, we would get those tags back. And the tags were so hard that literally the corners would dig into your side and you'd be like, oh, I've got a tag. And they would put it right on the thread. So then it would start to pull off the thread of your shirt or your pants, whatever was on. So then you had to resend it out so they could take the tag off and then give it back to you, which they were more than happy to do. And the crew was fantastic at taking it off. I guess I would have just liked for them to take those tags off the first time. That would have changed our experience. Because of the 2 times that we had those tags and had to deal with that, we actually ended up just doing our own laundry, which nice thing about Viking is they have laundry facilities literally on every level of the cruise or of the ship, on every deck. And I didn't have to wait for a washer or a dryer the entire time.
Yeah,
so
Kevin, tell us how the laundry was. What was the laundry room like?
So when I say we did laundry, I did the laundry. Shauna did not see the laundry room in 15 days.
I saw it. I said,
I did all of her laundry along with mine. Yes, I did get some brownie points for that. Weirdly, I actually kind of like doing my own laundry and not having somebody else do it. So I would actually do it myself again, even without the tags, because I'm just a type A and like to have control over it, I guess. Yeah. But it was like they had the detergent, everything was there. And again, the laundry machines were included. There's no upcharge for using them, not a lot of weight for them, if at all. So it was actually really easy to use. So I wouldn't even worry about the included laundry. I would just do it myself the next time we go, even if it's included.
I agree. The tags were a deterrent for me. I know some people don't mind them.
And you agree you would do your laundry?
I would let you do my laundry again. Okay. You did a great job. All right. So in terms of add-ons, we had 2 different add-ons. One was I did end up booking a spa experience. I had a massage there. It was a wonderful experience. It was nice that I knew going in the exact price that my massage was going to be. And then I, of course, had the option to add gratuity there, which I did, of course. So the spa experience was great, straightforward. The prices are right there. So there's nothing that's going to be surprising about that. And then we did make the decision to upgrade to the Silver Spirits package.
Yeah, so that was for 15 days, it was $350 a person, so $700 total for us. We had a $400 credit, so it was only $300. But I would say it was worth it because we didn't have an alcohol bill at the end of the cruise. Like there were literally, when we checked out, the only thing we paid for was her spa treatment. That was the nice thing, is we knew exactly what our ending bill was going to be. I would absolutely add the Silver Spirits package again, because you just don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I would say it was great in terms of the beverages that we were able to order from the bar and not have to worry about it. The staff, which we could move on to speak. So I would say Silver Spirits.
Liquor wise though, for Silver Spirits, like they had Patron, like they had your top shelf stuff. So it was really good. And yes, obviously, add-on and alcohol is cheers worthy.
I was going to say the crew got to know you and knew exactly what drink you like. So they'd be like, hello, Mrs. Thorson, do you want your añejo margarita, you know, or, you know, are you wanting to have gin instead? They got to know what you like. Mm-hmm. So I was moving into that to just say, overall, our experience with the crew, 10 out of 5. Like they went over the top trying to accommodate us and meet any of our needs and get to mm-hmm. know us and make things personalized. And they were wonderful.
The crew couldn't have been better. I mm-hmm. mean, literally every single person from the moment we stepped on to the moment we got off, they were all so attentive to every single person mm-hmm. and did a great job of remembering your preferences and stuff. One thing I would recommend is you can add on prepaid gratuities on the front end, which we did, but then we did take extra money to give to people that went above and beyond, and you cannot tip them enough. And the extra tip money that we gave above the prepaid mm-hmm. gratuities, they were all so appreciative and thankful for mm-hmm. that. I would ask anybody that goes on a Viking cruise, please plan on mm-hmm. bringing more than just the prepaid gratuities, because these people deserve it. They worked so hard mm-hmm. to make our experience truly, it was the best vacation of my life and something I will always remember.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So crew.
Oh God, 5 stars.
Cheers, wedding.
Bottle worthy. Let's chug it. So let's wrap this up. Overall
thoughts.
I will say what really blew me away though was the scenery from the cruise ship. Mm-hmm. And we knew when we booked Viking that we were choosing a smaller cruise line for a reason. Our itinerary took us through the kind of inside passage channel to see fjords that larger cruise ships couldn't see through mm-hmm. Norway. What I didn't realize is that how close the ship could actually get to land. It was hard to go to sleep sometimes at night mm-hmm. because we just wanted to stay out and look at all the beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons that we love our Viking cruise so much. And I can't wait for our next one, which we're already planning, is because we know that even when you're cruising, you're just going to see spectacular views because they can get so close and intimate mm-hmm. with your destinations. It blew me away. Like I loved that part of it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we had some little areas that we hope is better on our next cruise. Yeah. The pros,
the bed and the food could have been better.
Yeah, agree, especially with the price that we were paying. But the pros way overweighed the cons for us. The ship layout, the crew. I love how they bill us, that you know exactly what you're mm-hmm. paying. There's no nickel and diming. It appeals to us, the fact that all passengers, that there's no kids on board. So it just completely changes the entire ambiance whenever you're trying to relax on the cruise ship and actually look out at the sunset. So overall.
Oh, it's 5 stars. I would
overall
say
5 stars. Yep.
I would give it 5
overall
stars. Is it cheers worthy?
It's cheers worthy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll definitely be doing another Viking cruise.
Yes, we're already planning our next one.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know. I just couldn't stop.
So let's talk about our experience in Embarking.
Now I go. That's literally all you're saying. You're like, embarking.
Embarking. All right.
It's literally.
I need this fan on high.